Hello, Internet. So yeah, Aimless podcast here, Aimless Babel Z. We've had some scheduling issues in our run up to E3 week this week, so we're doing a bit, aimless style, just doing it. So we're gonna just like answer our usual prompts for like the E3 questions, which I will recite before I answer mine. We did our like separate recordings. Trioptical did his, I did mine. I messed up on Twitter when I tweeted RPG because I didn't put his, actual Twitter handle, so there'll be a delay when we get his responses, but we will get them up eventually. Whatever, here we go. So first pre-E3 question. We've got three most wanted games, the top three games that we're most looking forward to seeing covered on the show floor or at a press conference in some capacity. So for me, those three are going to be Anthem. I'm just looking forward to seeing how does this compare to Destiny A, and then like B, what does it bring as far as like gameplay wise? Because I'm like skeptical on one hand because I played so much at Destiny, but then like I can't pull myself away from Destiny. So if Bioware can like deliver that single player magic that they have narratively into this game, that being said, it's also like supposed to be like a multiplayer co-op experience. I'm like, can they get that in a very massive, like, expanded situation? But for me, like, I loved Andromeda, so I think they can do it, and it's going to be, like, something really interesting if they could hit it, because it's something I could play with my friends at the same time, and, like, be sucked in and just, like, constantly coming back to as a games as a service game. Second, it's going to have to be Death Stranding, because Kojima, and that, weird baby in the guy plays it the last trailer completely insane. So I'm just looking forward to getting more of like what is going on here, what is going, like, just yeah, like what so and then besides that, I will also say Last of Us Part 2, just because after finishing Detroit, man, Detroit was phenomenal and like graphically amazing, and so just like I would want to see something of that quality, but of a different genre type, and like see what Naughty Dog can bring to the table using. I mean, obviously they've like made amazing PS4 games already, so it's like just that quality in that franchise, bringing it back, and just like seeing like what it looks like this time around, and where it's headed. So definitely looking forward to that. Okay, then the next question that we have is three surprise announcements, which are what we think the surprise announcements from anybody will be at their press conference will get people excited and talking about their platform or game. Man, I mean, I it's like in lieu of like having something to say about Nintendo, it's like because obviously they're like, it seems like they kind of like not do any wrong in the Switch era so far, but I have like I've just got question marks for them as far as like what are they going to show and like what are they going to bring. So I'll just not even I'll not even bother. I guess one thing. I mean, I guess it won't be a surprise, but it would be like a nice breath of fresh air. Would be an update on Final Fantasy VII Remake from Square Enix, either at their press conference or at Sony's. That would definitely be just finally some news, since Kingdom Hearts is kind of wrapped, but not completely. But it's supposedly coming out, so they should be able to like move focus finally onto that, and work on getting that out the door eventually, years from now. Let's see, another surprise announcement. I'm just gonna say like some random new IP that's like a battle royale game, because that is so hot right now. People are just all over the battle royale genre. I mean, it's I would equate it to like it being like the new bright shiny thing everybody likes. Like for a while it was Angry Birds in Minecraft, and I mean that's a whole other can of worms really, but and then as far as like mainstream stuff goes, like it's always Call of Duty or GTA, blah blah blah. So just somehow here we are, and Battle Royale has like gravitated to the top, which is kind of insane because there's no like like as popular as MOBAs are, like Dota and League of Legends, like that stuff is like really popular, but it hasn't really like penetrated onto like the console side. So this is seemingly that happening as far as like something that's like big on PC and console and mobile. So I have a feeling something like that's going to happen. Like someone's going to show something that's like, oh, it's a battle royale game, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I honestly don't play those games, but that's just my prediction. Third surprise announcement, man, something in the form of backwards compatibility from Sony or Nintendo, because with Virtual Console, well, we have details on Virtual Console, so I guess not so much actually. I take that back. Surprise announcements, man. Oh, okay. So we've had Crash Bandicoot, we've had Medieval, we've had a lot of stuff coming back on the PlayStation platform. So I think there's going to be another throwback legacy game, somehow, some way, and it'll be something that we weren't expecting. I mean, I guess it can't be something that we were expecting, or obviously be like, oh man, I can't wait for that. But it's just gonna be like, a legacy game brought back from the olden times, PS1, maybe PS2 era, and it's a new one. And it's like, oh wait, we're gonna either remaster, remake it, or have a new entry in the series. So yeah. And then the next prompt of questions is the 3 Wish announcements. This will never happen, but we'd like to see it. Alright, let's see. My 3 wishes are... oh man. It's like, yeah, I have one, but it's like, there's no way it's gonna happen, so I'm not even sure if I want to waste a wish on it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, since they canceled the, like, Amy Hennig Star Wars game, I guess we'll see, like, a wish would be that we see the Star Wars game that they're working on, that's the games as a service game that they turn that into. Even though it's kind of sad and depressing. Or I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess just like a look at like whatever they're working on now that they have that license as far as Star Wars. Second would be that the Avengers game from Square Enix is like not a games as a service game, and it's like a just really good game that's like whatever they choose to do with it. Even if it's a Batman clone, it's like, I don't care, dude. I've been jonesing for my Black Panther game, and it's like, I just want it to be really good, and like, super nailed down, super amazing, and hopefully it's everything I want it to be, and you can be any Avenger, and it's just like, really awesome. So, that's a really weird wish. It's like, yeah, I wish that they share that game, and that's awesome. Yeah, whatever. 2 wishes, but it's one. Anyway, third wish, third wish, I'm gonna keep it Tekken with a weird, zany, out there VR game that's like, man, I did not see that coming, and it's just like, it's like, it blows us all away, and it's like, it could be the drill instructor game I'm always talking about, or it could be something else. It's just like, like they showed the Tetris thing, that'd be cool. But yeah, something from VR that it's like, oh man, that was not something I was expecting, and it completely blew my mind. Or just more VR. That I'm all about that. Well, I'm not all about that, but there's so much there that they could, like, they're just scratching the surface. All right, and then we have like the final question, which is, if a publisher and developer of your choice could team up to produce a dream game and show it and announce it at E3, what would it be? Mine's gonna be after playing Detroit, dude, and like just being blown away by it. I just want some sort of like compilation, or not compilation. That's not what it's called. Collaboration between Telltale and Quantic Dream, or Telltale and Bethesda. I guess like basically Telltale and any like AAA. That's a kind of an insult to say Telltale's not AAA, but like a bigger studio, like. They can do like the narrative thing, and then the other studio can do like the game engine tech thing, because man, I mean, the thing about like Detroit, I played it, is like, it looks so good, it looks amazing, and it has like it's very similar to a Telltale game, but it's not a Telltale game, like narratively. I'm not saying it's like not as good, but it is like, I guess it's very close. It's very close, but I'd give the edge to Telltale just because those games just draw me in narratively and story and characters. So if like they could just bring their magical to somebody else that they collaborate with, and then they have some like a property or something, or they just collaborate with like some tools to have the game engine look like really amazing, or just I don't know, just Telltale and anybody really, just and then have like a cool crossover game, or not crossover game, but like it's episodic, like Telltale style, with story and characters, but then it takes place in like the world of like whatever property that they're working with, the person that they're collaborating with, or if it was like a Quantic Dream situation where it's like it's episodic, but it's like Quantic Dream style, like I would take like the Telltale story characters and like narrative, and then like the Quantic Dream like graphic fidelity, and then like their branching path scenario. So it's like it's still episodic, and you have like choices, but then it's like the Quantic Dream like branching style to me is just I don't know. I felt it's very close, but it's just I think like in Detroit they kind of nailed it. So not to say it's hard to like say which one's better, but just like those two are just like so like where like the types of games I like to play, like those two studios are the only ones making them really in my brain right now. That's not true. I mean at their highest points. I mean like when they are just like at their top of their game, nobody else comes close. I just get sucked into those games and so those worlds. I mean I'd give like BioWare like a close third here because their studio's in trouble, and like I did love Andromeda, but I didn't really. Compared to the other games in the like Mass Effect series, like but that's a whole can of worms as far as like it's not, it's like a side game versus like an actual canonically connected entry in the franchise. But yeah, rambling on here at the end. Those are my answers to the prompt of the pre-E3 questions we usually do. RPG will have his responses either eventually or when we do like a get reactions or post E3 thing, and then like we'll get his like response of like what he wanted and like what he got, because it'll be like E3 time by then probably, or I guess we'll see. Or I might save this and then upload it later and then be like, yeah, we uploaded it late, so sorry about that. It's all my fault. Just blame Tekken on this one. It's all Tekken's fault. So yeah. But I haven't listened to Trioptical, so I'm gonna like listen to his now and like be entertained by that. And thanks for watching and listening, or wherever you're at on the internet, checking us out. And until you see or hear from us again, here's Trioptical and maybe RPG's responses. And until you see or hear from me again, I'm now signing off.
Hello, Trioptical here with my pre-E3 spiel, I guess we're calling it. I'm going to assume Tekken did the intro, so I'm just going to go down this list of my games, surprise announcements, all that. Starting with most wanted games, the games I want to see the most. Well, we already know there's sort of obvious pre-E3 announcements that they already did. We know what's going to be at Sony's show for the most part. And like Nintendo said they're doing Smash Brothers, so obvious ones aside, the ones I most want to see are first of all Blood and Truth for PSVR. It's the sort of full game version of the heist from PlayStation VR Worlds. We've only seen like a brief trailer of that, and I would really like to see, how far did they go? What else? What sort of interesting VR type stuff are they doing? Have they developed since they did that launch game? The second one is Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics Marvel Avengers game. All we have seen of that is wasn't even a trailer? I don't know, maybe just an image, but we know nothing about that game, and I would really like to see that too. And then finally, I'm going to limit myself to one of the games we already know that we're going to see. And the one I choose, it was sort of a toss-up between Ghosts of Tsushima and Death Stranding, but I think Ghosts of Tsushima is the one I'm more interested in. Alright, so that's the most wanted games. Moving on to Wish announcements. The fantasy announcements that probably won't happen. Dreams is out now. probably won't happen because history is they say that, was it the Saturn? It was a Saturn that they said, "Oh, it's out tomorrow," and like retail partners got really upset and all this. So it's unlikely. Although there's a slim chance, I guess, because now there's digital, and they could just be like, "Yeah, it's out on the storefront now," and then physical versions will be sometime in the future. Not really sure what retail will say about that. I would really like them to. So we know that Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna get their release date announced. Uh, it would be really awesome if it was August and it was just like 2 months away. That's my second wish announcement. Probably not gonna happen because, I mean, can you imagine? Man, just saying it. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out August, even late August, August 26th or something. It just sounds wrong. And then the third wish announcement is I wish they would improve PSVR in like a simple, cost-effective way. One of the ideas maybe is to add support for a second PlayStation camera, and then you could like cover all the blind spots. Like right now, if you turn away from the camera, then the Move controllers don't work very well. And potentially that could fix that. The other thing that there was an interview where they talked about this. They have experimented with doing things like having, I guess, like two PS4s hooked up together, and then one handled all the PSVR stuff while the other one handled like streaming and things like that with share button. Not just like capture footage, but like live streaming, so they could do more than just what one PS4 could handle. And it would be really neat if they released that to the public. Yeah, it would be pretty limited in appeal and audience, but I think it would be cool for me. All right, surprise announcements. I feel like this was the hardest category for me because looking at this just on my own, it feels like our categories are pretty similar to each other. It's just they're divided by likelihood of occurring. So surprise announcements are basically our wish announcements that seem more likely. So first of all, I did one for each system. Sony, I think that they told us the four big ones that they're focusing on, but there are still going to be surprises from Worldwide Studios. And I have no idea what they are. So for Nintendo, they've said they're doing mostly Smash Brothers. If you've been watching their release, the games that they've been releasing, I feel like maybe it's time for Pikmin. I would really like Pikmin on the Switch. Announced that Pikmin is being worked on for Switch, or even just the Pikmin 3 port. That would be great too. There was after release DLC for that game. Do a Game of the Year type situation edition like Mario Kart 8 and all that. So yeah, something like that. Microsoft, I couldn't really think of anything. So maybe time for a price drop on the One S. Although it's hard to say. I know there's the temporary price drop on the One X. But yeah, since the X is so high, cost wise, the price of the X is so high, even if they drop the S by a little bit, their sort of average price of console sold would still be up there. So advantages of having two consoles. But yeah, I think it would surprise me if this actually happened. It could happen, but then I don't know if they care about selling lots of consoles anymore since Play Anywhere is their thing. Perhaps some enhancement to that actually would be a really cool announcement. What would it be? I don't know. All right, so that's surprise announcements, and finally, wish games. The games that this is again like games that you want, but are unlikely. So there is a rumor that Rocksteady is making a Superman game in the Arkham universe. I want that to be true. Wish game number one: Superman Game of Dreams. Yeah, it's not enough that Rocksteady makes it because, as we saw with Arkham Knight, not necessarily gonna be. And in fact, like Rocksteady, their first game wasn't Batman Arkham Asylum. They did stuff before that. So, uh, yeah, Superman Game of Dreams, number one. Number two. This is probably because I got the Star Trek Next Generation DLC for Star Trek Bridge Crew, and noticed that the production value is kind of only so. Visually, the recreation of the set, the bridge, all that looks fine. The people, it's understandable. There's some wonkiness in VR, but then like the music, like why isn't any of the music actual Star Trek music? Like what? Star Wars very easily they do it very effectively. You don't even need that much for a Star Wars game. Just the sounds, and you'll feel like it's Star Wars. But the Star Trek games, like I think it's been like this for a while. Even Star Trek Online doesn't have Star Trek music. Uh, there was those like what was that one? Star Trek Encounters, I guess, was on PS2. None of them have Star Trek music. They just use the sound effects and the visuals, and they just don't feel good. So, what I want is a Star Trek VR game with sort of the first party treatment. That's another thing I've been thinking about. If Spider-Man from Insomniac Games is super successful, like what other property is going to want first party treatment, Sony first party treatment for their game version? It would be cool. Star Trek, yeah. And then finally, I've been playing at a local arcade that just opened up, which is just mind blowing. I would like a new TMNT game, arcade game, but do it sort of like how Street Fighter 4 is basically kind of like Street Fighter 2, but better. And yeah, could they make a TMNT game like that? Don't try to get overambitious and make these 3D free roaming type games. Just make a modern a beat 'em up, TMNT beat 'em up with modern sensibilities. I don't know what that is. Otherwise, I would do it myself. Also, I don't have the skills. So, two reasons. But no, this one is because I don't know. I don't know what that would be. But I've been playing Onrush, which is just a ridiculous and super fun arcade racer. And it got me thinking, once again, I can't remember what the game was before, but Onrush got me thinking, once again, that you always think that everything has been done for a genre. Every idea that could possibly be has already been made. And then you see something like Onrush, and you're like, no, it hasn't. This is totally new, something we never thought about, and it's really good. So we could do that for the Brawler. The Brawler is not probably exhausted. Figure it out. Wish game number 3, new TMNT. Yeah, I guess we were gonna do. Oh, I guess this part is the E3 spiel. My feeling before this E3 is different than years before. I used to be very excited about stuff I don't know about yet. The unknown unknowns. Things I don't know that I want until I see them. But my excitement is a bit subdued this year. I feel like maybe it's because there are plenty of known quantities that aren't out yet, and even though it's always fun to see more trailers, a lot of those I just want to play them now. Just let them be released. Kingdom Hearts 3, Dreams, Spider-Man, like enough. We've seen enough. Let us play them. Um but partially it's probably also because I have noticed I'm becoming more and more aware as years go by of how many games I have that I have not played yet. And maybe I'm also losing my ability to remember things as well, because twice this year already I have bought games that I already had because I saw them on sale for really cheap. And it's just like, hmm, I'm trying to be a better consumer. Actually use the things that I'm buying. So I'm sure, by the time tomorrow or whenever, so what day is today? By the time Saturday comes around and the press conference start and all that, I will be very excited. But for right now, it just seems kind of subdued and just waiting to see the things that I already know about, and I'm not really thinking about, like, those things are exciting enough. I'm not really chomping at the bit, if that is the saying. It sounds right, for things that I don't know exist yet. So yeah, that is that's pretty much my E3 going into this. I will be watching as much as I can. Um, and then, yeah, I don't know what our podcast schedule is going to be like, so stay tuned, I suppose. All right, back to you guys.